Hello, welcome to MAT 171. I'm your instructor, Ann Magnuson, and this video is going to give you a quick tour of the course. The first thing you'll notice is if you try to jump into the lessons, there's no content to display. That's because you have to first take the course entry quiz and something called the FERPA release, an academic honesty agreement. This is just a signature of this academic honesty agreement. This is an actual quiz. For the sake of time in the video, I am just going to answer one question. I'm not even checking it. I'm just submitting it so I can move on to eventually be able to see the lessons. So I've taken the course entry quiz. Now I'm going to sign the academic honesty agreement. I skipped that so that, again, for the sake of brevity. Now I want to show you the Getting Started material. Even though I've took those two quizzes, the lessons still don't show up. But clicking through the Getting Started material is how I'm going to get those lessons to show up. This material is very important. You need to read each item and mark each item reviewed before going on to the next one. This item describes the lab manual, which is our supplement for the course, and where it can be found. There's a link right here. It describes our homework system, the textbook, and the graphing technology you're allowed to use. I'm going to mark that reviewed. Of course, you'll be reading each one of these in detail. This item describes how the course is organized and the timetable of the course. That's very important. Please read that. It tells you where the calendar is, when the discussion boards are due, etc. This describes the attendance policy, which is important in an online class. Quizzes that are taken in our homework system WebAssign. This describes how many there are per week, how they're counted, etc. This next item describes the policy around tests, what they're like. They're paper and pencil, they're not on the computer. They need to be in a proctored environment. When they are, what you need to bring with you. Discussion boards, these are a big part of your grade actually, and this describes what the requirements are. Here's a link to the rubric and how often they're due and what the expectations are. I'm going to mark that review and go on. This describes the homework requirements. Mark that reviewed and go on. And finally, this describes the grade distribution in the class. You can see those discussion boards are important. They also count for attendance. So I've marked everything reviewed, and I've taken the course entry quizzes. Now the next item in the Getting Started material is the syllabus. You want to read through the syllabus. This contains important information like the last data drop with the W, the required textbooks and co-requisites, the late work policy, office hours. A lot of this material is in that Getting Started material, but there's more detail here. There's a bit more fine print. It shows a schedule of instruction as well as our division policies and contact information for administration in the department and the division. So you want to read that. And then finally the hours for our e-learning testing center, which is where your tests are proctored. Now hopefully, now we can see the first few weeks of the lessons are showing up because we've gone through the Getting Started material. So you'll see that each week we have a new content folder with lessons, links to the discussion boards, a weekly checklist to show you what you need to do for the week. It's a Word document that you can download and print and check items off. It tells you everything you need to do for the week. That's my syllabus left over. So there are normally 2 attendance posts required for a week unless it's a test week. These are links to those discussion boards. The first attendance is normally the graded one, but week 1 we're reversing that. The first attendance is actually going to be an introductory discussion board, and the second attendance post will be the graded discussion board. So please see that Getting Started material to get the details on that. Go ahead and click into a discussion board to see what it looks like. Here's a rubric. Here are the expectations for your posts. And here are some tutorials on how to use the graphing technology that we'll use called Desmos, how to use the lab manual in concert with these interactive lessons that are in each weekly folder. So the first topic is interpreting graphs. And here is a link to what's known as an interactive lesson. So these interactive lessons contain videos and slides and examples. Some of the graphs are interactive. They have interactive activities that show you some concepts graphically. It's a little bit slow. There's also the lab manual lesson key for the lab manual assignment that was assigned for this topic, and other resources such as PowerPoints, links to the textbook, etc. So each week new content will be put out and an announcement will go out, so you can see that they all follow basically the same format. There's some additional videos in here to help you navigate the course and to answer some questions. Again, each week has those 2 attendance discussion boards and more content. I'd like you to also click through the other buttons on the home page of our Blackboard page. So this one takes you directly to all the discussion boards. The Course Resources button contains resources for the course. So the hours for our proctoring center, the ELTC, the learning objectives for this course, a link to WebAssign, which tells us when it's down and not, our lab manual, and then some more tutorials for navigating the course. Also, we have the button that takes you to your grades, the Student Support button, which lists a lot of interesting resources for you. So we have more general Wake Tech resources, Blackboard resources, as well as specific resources to the math department, such as the STEM Center, which is a tutoring center manned by math and science instructors. We have the Google Calendar, and you can print it or you can format it by week or month. This shows when things are due and what the topics are we're covering for the week. And then finally, a link to a website called Smarter Proctoring, which is where you can make appointments for our tests to take them at the testing center on any one of the 4 Wake Tech campuses. I did also want to show you one other thing in the lessons. I'm going to click into one of these content folders with a topic. So notice that each topic has one of these interactive lessons associated with it. It also has a section in the lab manual associated with it, and a homework system, WebAssign, assignment associated with it. They all have the same name, so that hopefully keeps everything coordinated. And finally, I wanted to show you from the course resources as well as the Getting Started material, there's this lab manual. It's a PDF. And the lab manual is our supplement from which we'll be taking questions for homework and to show your learning on the discussion board. So those graded discussion boards will normally be an assignment to pick one question from the week's lab manual pages and demonstrate how you would do that question to the class.